I did camera work on Spinal. What happened was that Rob called me one day. I was doing All in the Family, so we were talking, and then he got this movie. He's directing this movie, and he's writing this movie, and helping write this part of the. He was a writer and director in this movie, and so he calls me one day, and he says, "Hey," he says, "I'm doing this rock and roll movie, not movie, it's rock and roll, shooting all this stuff for a rock and roll band. It's kind of a funny thing and stuff." He said, "I want you to shoot it for me and stuff. I want you to help me with it and stuff." And I said, "Okay, great, yeah." So it was just a couple of us, Tom Guerin and myself, and so we went out and we went to this little studio in La Brea, and they had everything set up like a rock and roll stage, and then we shot this band, and we shot all this stuff because he wanted to do it on video as opposed to film. Some of the movie is shot, of course, on film, but all the rock and roll, all the band numbers and all the band stuff, on performances and all that, he wanted to shoot on video because he wanted it to look like we were out, shooting video, like television. So that's what we did. We shot all the sequences for all the rock and roll band stuff. Now and to be honest, I didn't even know I did the film. I had no idea when I did it. I just did that, and I had no idea. Then years later, maybe 10 years later, somebody said to me, "Hey, I saw your name on a movie." And I go, "What are you talking about? It has to be somebody else." He says, "No, I saw your movie. It's a thing." So I looked, and sure enough, there's my name, in the credits, and stuff. But I didn't even know I had done that, So
you did watch it?
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah, it was very funny. Yeah.
And are you surprised that it had such a following?
Oh my God, it's become a cult movie. And as a matter of fact, I worked with another British director because it's a real cult movie, I guess, in England. It's become a real cult movie in England. I worked with another Hamish, this director from England, and somehow on the PL, the conversation, I don't know why it came up, something about, I was doing in New York, I was working at Madison Square Garden, doing Usher, and the conversation came around the PL, and somebody says, "Well, Hector worked on Spinal Tap," and he goes, "What?" He says, "You worked on Spinal Tap?" I go, "Yeah." So he goes, "No." He goes, "You kidding?" So he goes, he stopped everything. He come out and he says, "I just have to touch you, man." He says, "That's like," he says, "I grew up," because he's a young director. He says, "Are you kidding?" He says, "I watched that 100 times." He says, "It's become like this movie thing." He says, I go, "Well,